Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you are new. In this video, we are looking at the start of the NBA season. We just have a 2-gamer to start on Tuesday, and then we have a massive 13-gamer for Wednesday. So gear up, folks, because it's going to be a wild ride, and it's just beginning. I absolutely love the NBA season, probably like all of you guys. It's just a super fun DFS sport to play and to sweat out, late in games if you're sweating out some top prizes. It's always fun to read rooting on the players playing. So let's get into it. As always, I appreciate you guys hit the like button before we get started. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let's see if we can get over 150 likes on the video. That would be much appreciated. Have videos out every single day, or I'll at least try to have videos out every day for NBA. Still have football going on, and coming off of a tremendous week 15. Looking to keep it rolling in football. Have NBA is going to be a top priority. Football is a top priority, and then we'll go from there. But let's get started looking at this 2-game slate. We'll go probably position by position. I'll just touch on some quick notes for every team. I think the first game, Draymond Green is out for this one. Somehow he's point guard eligible and small forward eligible, two positions that he doesn't even play. He's a power forward for that team, but he's not going to be playing, so you're going to see Eric Pascal start at $3,800. He seems to be a pretty good value play on a slate where there are a ton of superstars to pay up for. You have Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, LeBron, Curry, Leonard, Irving, PG, who I'll still include, although he's really just not been that the top tier recently in his last couple years. But there's just so many superstars on this 2-gamer that you're gonna need to go cheap at some position. Stars and scrubs looks to be a place to go. So you have Pascal at 3,800, who I like. You have James Wiseman, $4,900, second overall pick. He didn't play in the preseason for some undisclosed reason. Seemed to be working through the COVID protocols, but Steve Kerr said there's a chance that he'll start this game, and if that does happen against the Brooklyn team, where we know Brooklyn, you can attack them on the glass. It's a different story this year. We'll have to see because they have Kevin Durant, a 6'11" power forward slash small forward, playing now next to Jared Allen and DeAndre Jordan, so their rebounding should be a lot better. But I still think you can look to Wiseman in his first game. If he starts, I think he looks a little bit better. But anyways, I'm not playing Kayvon Looney at 52. Doesn't give you that much upside. Chris looks okay, but I'd rather take a shot on Pascal. I like Kelly Oubre at 6,700 just because he is cheap. He's a second scoring option. Him and Wiggins will probably compete for the second option, but Oubre, coming off of his career year against the Suns, he's shown to have a spark, and I think he will definitely play a big role in that offense this year. So on this first game, I'm looking at Steph Curry. I think it's just a plug and play almost against at $9,300. He is probably my favorite superstar to pay up for. He's just going to command so much usage on the team without Klay Thompson for the entire season. Now he's not playing with Draymond Green, who can ball up the court. So he's going to have the ball in his hands basically the entire game. $9,300 for a guy that will shoot a bunch, gives you a lot of assist upside, can get you rebounds. Just thinks he's probably one of the better spend ups on the slate. So gonna be liking him a ton. And then I like Oubre is my second favorite play. Then you have Pascal is my third favorite play, and then Wiseman is the fourth guy that I'm considering. On the Brooklyn side, you have Kevin Durant is $9,800. I like him quite a bit. You're not getting any sort of discount. That's probably where his price will be for most of the season, right in that high 9K range. You have Kyrie Irving a little bit cheaper at 8,500. This team is now loaded with talent. They have Irving, Dinwiddie at the point guard position. You have Joe Harris at only $4,800. Give him a big contract in the offseason. Got like $75 million of 4 years. So you got to keep an eye on Joe Harris. I think he looks okay, but he's just going to be a catch and shoot guy for most of the year. Levert, whether he starts or comes off the bench, I think coming off the bench might be better for him just because he's going to get a lot more usage coming off the bench. It's going to be tough getting usage playing next to Irving and Durant. And then center situation, both guys are pretty expensive. I'm not that interested in either one. I think I would probably take a shot on maybe Wiseman at 52 if he starts, or maybe take a shot on one of these Lakers or Clippers bigs. So on the Brooklyn side, it's really Irving is my favorite play, just because he's 8,500. You're saving $1,300 from Durant, and there are some value power forwards that we'll get to, but definitely think Irving is the best play on that team. And then I like Harris a little bit as a value play. Durant if you wanted to pay up and double stack them. And then you could look to maybe like a Dinwiddie, who's 6,000, so he's a little bit too expensive. Really, Irving and Durant are the two main pieces you want, and then I think Joe Harris you can sprinkle as a cheap value play. On the Clippers side, now this team has a lot of value, potential value. Marcus Morris is out for this one, so you're going to see somehow Nick Batum is still getting starter minutes. He was starting for them during the preseason. We started the last game at least. And $4,100, I still don't like him that much. He's just not that much of a high usage player. Playing next to Kawhi and Paul George, I would rather probably go with maybe go with Serge Ibaka, who I really like at $5,200. You're getting him as a starting center. He gives you a lot of upside just because he can get you a double double. And coming off the bench last year for Marcus Gasol, they already announced that he will be starting for them this year ahead of Zubat. So give him like mid 20 minutes. She'll be able to have she'll be able to put up some big numbers, at least decent numbers, and against the big Lakers front court, they're going to need his size out there. So without Morris, they could even go Ibaka at the 4 and go like super big if they wanted to. Ibaka at the 4 and Zubac at the 5. Kawhi is $9,100. He looks like another decent spend up option. You're gonna have to kind of pick and choose which guys you want to pay up for. Seems like a Christmas slate where you have so many studs and you just have to kind of pick and choose. He's a little bit behind on the tier for me. I think Steph Curry is my favorite. Davis looked really good too on the Lakers side. So he's probably like third on the list for me tomorrow night. And then Lou Williams, 54, off the bench. We know he can get hot, but I think if you wanted to go with a value play, you're probably going to look at like Luke Kennard at $3,600. Going to allow you to pay up for some other superstars. They just signed him to a 4-year, $64 million contract. No Marcus Morris, so he'll probably get even more minutes on Tuesday, and will be the kind of second guy off the bench scoring besides Lou Williams. You could see him even potentially close the game ahead of like Nick Batum with Morris out. So keep an eye on Kennard. I think he's a really, really good value play. And moving on to the fourth and final team, the Los Angeles Lakers. You have LeBron James at 96, so he looks good. Obviously, you have Davis at 10K. He also looks really good. He absolutely went nuts in the last game in the preseason, 6 of 7 threes, 35 points, was just unstoppable. So Davis, $10,000 looks like a really good play. They have a ton of new guys now that are going to really kind of shake up how that team looks. Like Harrell is now on the team. You also have bringing in Dennis Schroeder, so we'll see. They might start Schroeder. They've been starting Kuzma in the preseason, but I don't think he'll start. I still think KCP will start. You could look at KCP as a value play if you wanted to at $4,200. Schroeder looks fine. If he's starting, it's a little bit less inch. I would rather have him coming off the bench, getting more usage. But this team is just going to be dominated by LeBron and Davis, like it always is. So we definitely have the ability to pay up for another superstar if you wanted to. That guy could definitely be Anthony Davis. So you're basically getting a superstar from the Warriors, superstar from the Lakers, and a superstar from the Nets, paired with two Clippers players that are going to play probably a big role tomorrow night. At least Kennard, I think, is going to be a decent play just because he's super cheap. And Ibaka is only 52 starting against a team that is going to play big, so you're going to need his size out there. And then another cheap guy that I think everybody's going to play, and I kind of find it tough not to with how cheap he is and the fact that you want to pay up for guys, is going to be Pascal. So feel pretty good about like these 6 right now. If anything changes, I'll let you guys know on Twitter. But I feel good about Curry, good about paying up for Davis, obviously. Then you still got Kyrie Irving, and then you got Kennard, Ibaka, and Pascal as pretty good value plays. So that's kind of it for the Draftkings breakdown for the 2-gamer. Let's jump over to Fanduel. I know the pricing is a little bit different, so we'll spend some time over there. Okay, on Fanduel, point guard wise, it seems like a position where you want to pay up at point guard. You have Irving and Curry, and then you have Lou Williams, who is decent, but then it's nobody else I think gives you a ton of upside. So compared to some of the other players we'll get to, like in my eyes, there's 3 viable plays. You can play Pat Beverly if you want, but I probably won't be doing that. So for me, the 3 viable guys are Irving, Curry, and Williams. Moving on to shooting guard, you have a lot more viable players. You have George, Wiggins. even Dinwiddie, Schroeder, they're all viable. Kennard at 4K is viable. KCP at 37 opens up a lot, assuming he starts again. So you have like 5 or 6 players at shooting guard that are viable. Small forward, usually a position that is pretty bad on FanDuel, but yeah, at least it looks pretty decent on the 2 gamer. At least you have LeBron, Kawhi, Kelly Oubre, pretty cheap Karis LeVert, a pretty cheap Joe Harris as well, and then you have some punt plays like a Prince or a Bazemore. Power forward position is pretty deep too. You have Davis, Durant, Ibaka, Pascal. Those 4 look to be pretty solid, and you have a very cheap Kyle Kuzma at only $4,200. And then center, you have very cheap options. Nobody above 5,100. You have Jared Allen at 48. Jordan at 45. Seems like Jordan looks a little bit better, but they'll probably split some time. Wiseman, if he starts, I like him a lot at only $4,200. Assuming he gets like decent minutes at least, it's gonna be tough for him to completely fail at that price point if he starts. And like with the Nets splitting some time at center, with the Lakers having a timeshare, even with the Clippers, someone could have some timeshare with Ibaka and Zubac. I think Wiseman, if he plays well, he's going to get the minutes. So he's the first guy that I like at center. Power forward, it's completely different. Durant's only 85 on FanDuel. I think that's almost like very difficult for me not to have more interest in him than some of the other superstars. He opens up a lot more, allows you to pay up for maybe another superstar instead of paying up all the way up for like Davis. So you can definitely try to get both in there, but I think if I had to pick one, it would be Durant as my favorite, and I also like Serge Ibaka at 55. He looks good too. Small forward, pretty big difference between LeBron and Kawhi. I think if you just had to pick one, it probably would be Kawhi based on that price tag. Just think he looks really good at that cheap price point. If you didn't want to play any of them, you could like just play Kelly Oubre and hope that he kind of does his thing at 6,400 and then end up paying up at power forward. So that's one way to go. Or you can go cheap. I think Joe Harris at 4,300 will get a good amount of minutes, and will definitely probably won't kill you at that price point. At shooting guard, you have quite a bit of options. I'd probably go a little bit cheaper at this position, whether it be for like a Kennard or a KCP is only 3,700. I'm not that interested in paying up at this position for Paul George. I think I'd probably rather pay up at point guard, rather pay up at power forward, rather pay up at small forward. So KCP slides right in there at 37. Hopefully he starts again, and hopefully he can at least get you like 20 something fantasy points. That is right about a little over 6x value right there. So he doesn't need much. And then at point guard, you pay out for Steph Curry, and you're still left with 7,600 left. So I probably will end up paying up at small forward, and I think going Kawhi at only $9,500. That looks pretty good. Still leaves you with 6,350, so you still have plenty to pay off. Power forward, another guy like Ibaka, maybe try to get to Davis, and then maybe go to like Oubre instead of Kawhi. So there are definitely some decisions to be made, but if you plug in Kyrie Irving as well, you still have 5,400 left. So I think something like this is probably what I will be rolling with on FanDuel. Small forward a little bit up in the air still, but I really like paying up for both point guard spots, Curry and Irving, and then going with Durant at power forward at only 85. So that's it for the 2 gamer. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and best of luck.